The idea is to help and assist with your cash flow, really, when it comes to the crunch. But that's by far the biggest. Now, for an example, I have really been, in the 4 years I've been here now, I have been out and I have really been pushing education on the use of these credits. When I got here in 2006, the annual tax credits that were going back to businesses in the 6-county region was $250,000. That's the tax credits, not their investment. That's the actual credits that went back to the owners. Last year, it was 4.6 million. I've done everything I can with CPAs, with Rotary groups, with chambers, with all the various business type entities that I can reach to get this information out to as many people as I can. If you're a small business owner, large business owner. Yes, you waited ever so patiently, I'm sorry.
I have actually several questions. The investment tax credit, is that 3% of federal tax or state tax?
All state.
It's all, okay, okay. And are these refundable credits? You get them whether you owe tax or not?
You can carry them forward for 5
Carry
years.
them forward?
Yep.
Okay.
The maximum you're allowed to take in any year at present is, well, I think it's about $1 million, isn't it? But in 2012 it's going down to $500,000 in any 1 year. So if you owe $500,000 in state tax credits,
but if you only owe $250 and you have one new employee, you get $250.
Oh no. What happens is you file it all, you put it in, you can claim what you owe, and then you carry the balance forward.
Okay.
You file whether you have a liability or not, and then you can claim your credit.
Okay. And on, let's say, partnerships, S corps, sole proprietorships, does it all flow through to the individual?
Yes, it flows through to the individuals. That's up to the CPAs and accountants to do. I get one form, and they then have to do the process at their end. Yes?
Are these things retroactive at all? I mean, if you've been so busy
You can go back 5 years.
your business that you couldn't look up to
Come see me.
learn about these things.
If you have,
Okay.
if you think you're eligible, please come see me. We'll
Okay,
arrange
yes.
an appointment, and you can go back up to 5 years.
Okay, good.
So basically, you set a baseline for the year of 2006, no, 5, tax year 2005. You set that as your baseline,
Okay, yeah.
wherever you were,
Yeah.
and then you work from there. We work it out, and you have to refile for each year.
Okay.
But if you're going to get several $1,000s in tax credits,
Yeah, I did
it's
a
worth
major
the effort.
addition onto my business 2 years ago, so.
yes.
And-
Well,
And that's true for all these you described, the investment taxes, job
they're
credit?
all lumped together, all the enterprise zone tax credits to be carried for 5 years. And in fact, because they've changed the limit on the enterprise zone for the investment tax credits, at the moment I couldn't swear to it, I've never ever had anybody hit $1 million in tax credits. Think about it, that's 3%. You know. So I've never had it, but I think it's about $1 million at present. They have reduced it to 500,000 for 3 years from 2012. The state's pretty broke. They want to start getting some of these taxes in, right? But what they've done is they've said, right, if you have tax credits that you would normally be claiming over that, as I say, I've actually got a couple of companies that would go over that $500,000 limit. They are allowing you to carry it forward for an extra 3 years. And it then makes it, is it 9 years, 10 years? Something like that, that you can carry these tax credits forward and use them over the period. You have to file each year. And then they just deduct what you've got and you're left with a balance. But you must file every year with the enterprise zone form, even if you're not claiming anything. Then they fix it out for you at the state level. Yes?
How familiar are tax accountants, local tax accountants, with these tax credits? You know, like for instance,
I would hope by now the local tax accountant tax people should be pretty familiar with it. I'm still getting the odd one, but I'm finding the ones I'm getting now that are saying, if I get a form in and I see somebody on page 1 that asks, how many employees do you have? How many did you have in January? How many did you have in December? If it goes from 6 to 14 and 8 new ones, and I go to page 2 and I'm not seeing new employees, I do nothing till I've picked up the phone. I speak to the accountant. I ask them what the situation is, what are the circumstances, have they had a decline in employment and for a couple of years and now they're picking back up? Is it a brand new company, whatever, and we get the tax credits. Part of my job for the OEDIT in Denver, which is my boss there, is to see that when the form leaves the office here, it is as correct as I can get it with the information I'm given. The idea being, I'm signing it, and I'm saying to the Department of Revenue, I've seen it, I've checked it, this is okay. So, the Department of Revenue, when they get one of these forms, don't often question it. They normally go through pretty easily. There's not a lot of questions. But if you really mess up on it, or change it once I've sent it back to you, and the Department of Revenue find this error or this, and they get suspicious, your whole tax return will be in audit. So I like to get these right. I promise you. I don't want anybody in audit any more than anybody else does. Yes,
So
sir.
to follow up, I give all of my paperwork to my accountant to do my taxes every year. Will he submit a form to you, or?
Yes, and you should be signing it.
Okay.
Who is your accountant, may I ask?
Decker? Ron Decker.
Yes.
So he has this form, and
They have these forms, and they know me, and they know my number, and I get some funny questions sometimes. They'll call me up, and they're not 100% sure. The straightforward ones, most of them know, but there are some odd oddities that crop up occasionally, especially if they're going back 4 or 5 years, which can happen. Yes?
So Telluride and Mountain Village are not enterprise zones?
No, they are actually too affluent.
Not everybody there is that.
No. Unfortunately, they go by the average, and I couldn't agree with you more.
What about Lawson Hill, which is outside the geographic?
No,
but it's part of the
The
region.
physical town, the town limits of Telluride and the town limits of Mountain Village. I spend more time on Google Maps. I have pipelines and all I get are GPS. GPS coordinates.
All the rest of San Miguel County is.
Everything else is included. So,
What was your name again?
Rona Keckler. And as I say, I was walked out of my office, I'm sorry, Senator, but I wasn't aware I was going to be talking today.
No,
So I haven't even got my badge or anything. But my office is right across the hall here, and I have put a whole load of brochures up at the back. I can put some of my business cards up there as well if you wish. And then if any of you do want to contact me, you're very welcome. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hold so much time. Any other questions before I finish? No?
Well, I'd just like to say, we've talked about the enterprise zones at some of the other town hall meetings we've had, and that's probably the best explanation I've heard so far, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Well, that's 30 years in education, 10 as a vice principal.
That's why we have the best enterprise zone in the state.
Maybe that's the reason I said that she's really increased the use of that zone here over time. So great programs, and hopefully some folks that weren't aware of that, you can make your accountant aware of that, or if you do your own taxes, come see Rob.
Yes.